June 4th, 1942. The US Navy is outnumbered, outgunned, and facing the full might of the Imperial Japanese Navy. But in the coming hours, the tides of war will shift in a way no one could have predicted. This is the story of the Battle of Midway, the moment that changed the course of World War II in the Pacific. Just 6 months earlier, Japan had shocked the world with its surprise attack on Pearl Harbor, crippling the US Pacific Fleet. Now, in mid-1942, the Japanese sought to expand their control of the Pacific. Their next target, Midway Atoll, a small but strategically vital island. Leading the Japanese forces was Admiral Isoroku Yamamoto, mastermind of the Pearl Harbor attack. His plan was simple but ambitious. Lure the remaining US fleet into a trap, destroy their aircraft carriers, and eliminate American resistance in the Pacific once and for all. But Yamamoto underestimated one thing: the power of intelligence. What the Japanese didn't know was that the Americans had cracked their secret code. Thanks to a team of cryptographers at Station Hypo, the US Navy knew Japan's entire battle plan before the first shot was even fired. Using clever deception, the Americans confirmed their suspicions. When a fake distress message from Midway triggered a Japanese response, it was clear: the attack was coming. Now the US Navy had a rare opportunity to turn Japan's own trap against them. At dawn, over 100 Japanese aircraft launched a furious attack on Midway, pummeling its defenses. But instead of launching their second wave, the Japanese were caught off guard. From the east, waves of US bombers and torpedo planes were closing in. Leading the charge was Torpedo Squadron 8, flying outdated TBD Devastators. Their mission? Strike at the heart of the Japanese fleet. But it was a disaster. The slow-moving torpedo bombers were sitting ducks against the faster, more agile Japanese Zero fighters. Not a single torpedo found its mark. One by one, the American planes were shot down. Out of 30 men, only one survived. It was a devastating loss. But their sacrifice had not been in vain. Just as the Japanese believed they had control, a new threat emerged. From above, American SBD Dauntless dive bombers streaked down from the sky. The Japanese carriers were caught completely off guard. Their decks were loaded with refueling aircraft, bombs, and torpedoes. An absolute catastrophe waiting to happen. In just 5 minutes, 3 Japanese carriers, Akagi, Kaga, and Soryu, were hit with direct bomb strikes. The once mighty fleet was now an apocalyptic scene of smoke, flames, and sinking metal. The last remaining carrier, Hiryu, managed a final counterattack, striking the USS Yorktown. But it was too late. The next day, Hiryu was found and destroyed. By the evening of June 7th, Japan's dream of Pacific dominance had gone up in flames. The Battle of Midway was nothing short of a miracle victory for the United States. The US had lost 1 carrier, the Yorktown, but the Japanese had lost 4. More importantly, Japan lost its elite carrier pilots, men who could never be replaced. For the first time in the war, Japan was on the defensive. From this moment on, the US would begin its island-hopping campaign, pushing ever closer to the Japanese mainland. Midway had turned the tide of war, and so, on those fateful days of June 1942, amidst the flames, heroism, and sacrifice, the course of history was forever changed.